What does it actually mean to be professional? Specifically with hair. I think about black people with braids, afros, and dreadlocks, and what that means to work specifically in corporate America. So in the office, in a white collar job, what does that actually mean to say the hair is unprofessional, or this dress is unprofessional, or somebody's tattoos are unprofessional? And I really thought about the difference between professionalism and preparedness. And professionalism is so socially dependent. So it's dependent on how we perceive people and how we perceive different actions or different appearances. And that's all embedded in socialization. So how we're socialized, how we're taught to act, or how we're taught to behave, or how we're taught to perceive what others do and say and how they look. But in reality, professionalism should be about preparedness. So outside of somebody's appearance, outside of somebody's accent, outside of somebody's hair texture, when it comes to getting a job done or accomplishing a task, the focus should be on preparedness. So are you prepared to do X, Y, and Z, this, that, and the third? Can you adapt? How fast can you learn? And this is like putting capitalism aside and just focusing on not even corporate America, but what does it mean to be prepared to do a thing outside of your appearance, outside of how people perceive you, outside of how people perceive specifically your ability to do a thing and your capacity to learn new things, and how quickly and efficiently can you do those things. In any case, I was thinking with preparedness, that should be the focal point. However, as flawed human beings, we have flawed perceptions, and we only focus on really what we want to focus on. We only are looking for quote unquote total package, but in reality, nobody is the total package. It's just, if I perceive this person to check off all of these boxes within my own perceived checklist, then if they check off all those boxes, then they're the total package for what I want, or for what I think would fit for a given role, for a given task, for a given team. When I think about what it means to be professional, oftentimes that comes with accolades, accreditation, validation, like a license or a certificate or a diploma or something that certifies that someone is a professional. Just because you qualify doesn't mean you're qualified. Just because you have, think about this, here's an analogy. Everybody who has a driver's license, there's a certification to be able to drive legally. Okay, this individual knows how to operate a motor vehicle. This person can legally drive. You know how many awful drivers are in these streets who are still licensed? Just because you qualify for a license doesn't mean you're a professional driver. Just because you have a license doesn't mean you're a perfect decision maker on the road. You get me? I've been taught throughout my life that when I encounter someone who is a professional in whatever thing, there's an element of authority that comes with professionalism and being socialized to follow rules and defer to authority. I'm now learning, bruh, just because someone is a professional, someone is in a position of authority, don't mean they always right. Just because somebody wrote the rules, don't mean the rules are airtight, don't mean they perfect, don't mean that I can't bend the rules. It doesn't mean that if I don't follow the rules perfectly, then things won't turn out okay. Honestly, in a lot of cases, rules are just suggestions, but that's a nuanced conversation. And when I consider automatic deference to authority, it's like, no, because those people in positions of authority are still just people. They're still flawed. They still have their own biases. They still have their own preconceived notions about how the world works. And especially when I get to a point where I'm in a position of authority, I gotta be real with myself. Be like, bro, you still just a human being, just like everybody else. It just so happens that you have this title next to your name, or just so happens that you can make decisions that will influence how things will operate in a given context. But like, you're gonna be wrong sometimes. You're gonna need to put your biases to the side. You're gonna need to put your ego and pride to the side. You're gonna need to put whatever you think is right to the side sometimes, because it ain't always gonna be right. It ain't always gonna be true. It ain't always gonna be the best thing for that given situation. And me leaning in too much to professionalism and saying, no, I have these accolades, I have these certificates, I have these diplomas, I know what's best. No, I'm not always gonna know what's best. That's false. That's false. Just wrong. No. And I'd be kidding myself if I thought that just because I had some certificate, or I had this license, or I had this position of authority, that I would be the end all be all. No. But the problem is, a lot of people let that professional title, or let those certificates, and let that get to their heads. And that leads to power trips, egotistical decision making. I want to encourage people to really question yourself, especially if you're in a position of authority or a position of influence, to really question, all right, why am I doing what I do? Why am I thinking the way I think? How is it that I can shift my mindset in certain ways, in a way that does not belittle others, does not infringe on other people's agency, and then also don't let my accomplishments go to my head? How is it that I can, yes, exercise the responsibilities that I've been given, but also how can I make decisions that don't just lean on being professional, but prioritize being prepared, and that being prepared for the unexpected, being prepared to interact with people from different personality types, being prepared for moments when I don't know what to do, being prepared for navigating through ambiguity, being prepared for just helping somebody else, helping people that cannot help me, and helping people just for the sake of helping, not for, like, oh, if I help them, then it'll look good. No. Just helping people empathically, helping people because they need help, and filling in the gaps where I can. Because, I can't help everybody, but I can help at least one person. And then I can also encourage that person to help somebody else. If that happens across 10,000 people, then we're doing something, right? So key point, professionalism and preparedness are two different things. Just because someone, quote unquote, looks professional, or they have a position of authority, does not mean they're prepared to handle problems, prepared to handle social interactions with people from all walks of life. Another key point, I'm learning to focus on preparedness, and I'm learning to focus on navigating the unexpected And the trouble with that is you can't really prepare 100% for it because it's unexpected. So like, if it's unexpected, how could I be ready for it? But I can prepare like 90% of the way there, because I imagine there's a paradigm shift with, I believe it's Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So if I'm preparing my mindset for when things do go wrong, instead of me just expecting everything to go by the book and everything to be perfect, and then when things don't go perfectly, then I shut down. Instead, my mindset is ready for when things break down, ready for when things don't go to plan, and then I can more quickly adapt, and I can more quickly say, okay, this isn't going perfectly, and I understand emotionally how to navigate that. Because if I'm prepared for the unexpected, then that means I'm emotionally prepared and cognitively prepared to go through a different set of checklists and a different set of cues to say, okay, this isn't going right. Here's what's to do next. This isn't going right. Here's what to do next. So I'll leave you with this. Question the professional standard, which is socially biased, and it looks different depending on your cultural context, depending on what type of social context you're looking at, what it means to be professional in this field versus another field. But really question mainstream understandings. And when I say mainstream, I'm talking about stuff that you'll come across in movies, TV shows, that you'll see in professionalism workshops. Like, really question instead of just taking things for granted. Instead of just saying, oh, this is just how it's done, I guess I gotta fit. Question it. Or just question it. Some things, okay, traditionally, it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But other things, go beneath the surface. Go beneath just what everybody is giving you at face value. And on another note, focus more on preparedness. Because sure, you can look the part, you can have the accolades, you can pass the test or the examination to get licensed or to get certified, but when you actually in it, there's a lot of preparation that goes along with certain positions of authority, that goes along with certain responsibilities, and then there's another level of being prepared for the unexpected. So focus on being prepared and not so much on fitting a professional standard, which is socially biased anyway.